I got to read the notes on my phone since my very expensive Apple device can't do two things at once.
Right. Well, I guess in your case, as long as it draws those great comics for you, that's all it needs to really do.
It does
Yes.
that.
Yes.
I have a program that does that.
Yeah, obviously. All right, you're listening to the Illustrious Gentleman. This is episode 224. I think I can't remember if I changed the doc header to reflect this episode or if it's still last week's episode. I'm going to say
on the notes it says 223, but the document says 224.
I'm going to say it's 224.
I think you're correct.
All right, that's Scott. That's the guy talking. He draws superheroes over at DC Comics like Superman and Batman. And I'm Ryan, and I color some comics. Most recently, Family Tree at Image Comics. And this week we're going in the Wayback Machine to 1996. You can go to tigshow.com and click on the Support the Pod link there to find out all the affordable and handsome ways you can support this podcast.
That was a Wayne's World joke?
The doodly-doo,
right?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's Wayne's World or Austin Powers. I think it's Wayne's World.
Yeah, it's Wayne's World because it's when they go into a fantasy world. Yeah, when you do that in front of your screen, it looks like you have web fingers. Like you've been swimming too much time in the pool.
Yeah, I've got some stuff happening around me right now.
That's right. That's right. Wouldn't have it any other way. So since this since
temporal distortion.
Yeah. Well, since we're going back in time in 1996, at least until the last day of 1996, I couldn't drink, and you were just a pup.
I had just started high school.
Right. So we're not drinking. As far as I remember, we're not drinking this morning. One, due to the fact that it's still a little early, and two, due to the fact that I basically spent 90% of my waking hours yesterday drinking. So I'm having some iced black coffee.
Where can I get a mug like that?
You mean a mug like this? Well, you can go to tigshow.com, go on the merch link, and go to my Threadless store. Could be TeePublic. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's a TeePublic store. Either way.
Put that mug in your mug.
That's right. The Drink and Draw Social Club mug. So I guess we could just get on it today since we actually got a busy day ahead of us both.
Yeah. To boot, I've also got a couple of my offspring home.
Not feeling well, huh?
Something like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, well, let's get on to it then. Tig Talk, where we talk about what we've watched and what we've done. You mentioned right off the bat the Italian Grand Prix. Big week for McLaren.
Big. Yeah, they went 1-2 in the pole, bro.
Yep. Yeah. Started 2 and 3 and ended up finishing 1 and 2.
Nice. Yeah, that I saw a video of Max and Lewis getting caught up. That was scary.
Yeah, like those new Halo devices they have, those have only been in effect for like 3 seasons or something like that. I
just watched a video on why F1 cars don't have canopies. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I think last year there was the big Romain Grosjean accident that the Halo probably saved his life. And then yesterday the Halo probably saved Hamilton from getting squished.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. But as someone who
had that wheel been in the wrong place, and Max, you could see him trying to gun it off the top of the car.
Right.
Had that back wheel been on top of that Halo, things would have gotten bad.
Yeah. The only I don't ever like to see accidents. I'm not one of those guys who watches and hopes for like action or accidents like that.
No, that's awful.
But if one of those guys is going to go out, I'm glad they both went out, because that way it doesn't affect the championship standings. They both got 0 points. So it made for an interesting race towards the end. Danny Rick, one of my guys, got it done.
Yeah. I wanted to make an I Love Lucy joke with Dan and Ricardo, but I can't formulate one under pressure. Danny.
He's Australian, and a lot of Australian and New Zealanders do shoeys. Do you know what a shoey is?
That was yes.
So
Yeah.
would you ever do a shoey? What
No,
you
I think feet are gross.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gross, but it's you're not gonna taste it. It is gross, but
I hate feet.
you're just doing a shot. Okay, so
I'm a reverse Quentin Tarantino.
okay, you're the reverse Tarantino. All right. So anyone who's watching the video can see that I'm decked out because our match is on in about an hour for the Toffees. But your team finally got some points over the weekend.
Little Monday Night Football.
That's right. Yeah, but your team finally did something this weekend.
Yeah, we got in the dubs column.
Yeah.
Finally.
I think I messaged you and I said, well, it is
scored.
It is Norwich, or Norwich, however you pronounce it. So you got to win that game. I mean,
yeah, there's finally not a donut in the goals for column.
Right, right. Yeah, only took 3 matches and they finally got a goal. Yeah,
yeah. Only been outscored by 8 now.
Yeah. Well, good for you guys for getting off the schneid.
You're supposed you beat who you're supposed to beat. You know.
Yeah. Ideally, we're playing Burnley in about an hour, so I expect another 3 points out of the Blues, but we'll see. Yeah, I haven't done much. My wife made me watch a movie this past weekend that I had never seen.
Oh, what's this movie?
Shockingly enough, as a red-blooded American man, she was shocked that I had never seen the Denise Richards vehicle Wild Things. From, I don't know what, late 90s, maybe 2000.
I've seen the parts I need to see.
It's really not that much. Like, my thought was the whole movie is going to be softcore porn, and there's one scene where you see boobs that might be a stand-in, because you don't see face and boobs. But and we actually had to pay to rent this. This is how desperate we were for new product over the weekend. I rented this on Amazon. But because my wife is like, it's a good movie, and I'm like, is it just not a bad movie, or is it a good movie?
What movie is this?
Wild Things. Matt Damon, Nev Campbell, Denise Richards, Kevin Bacon. Super weird.
Do they ever play the song in the movie?
No. Maybe that's where it failed. Maybe that's why it flopped. It's because it didn't open with Wild Thing. Right.
I don't understand then.
Yeah, and this movie also, I think for everyone except maybe Kevin Bacon, it killed everyone else's. I don't know another thing Nev Campbell's been in since, or Matt Dillon, or Denise Richards. And
Nev Campbell has got the Scream franchise.
I think that was before
Richards
this.
Never was a thing. This didn't kill anybody. And Matt Dillon, right?
Yeah.
Matt Dillon never was a thing either.
Well, the writer-director, I've never heard his name before either. So
I have no idea who it was.
Yeah. So
I have no idea what the movie's even fucking about other than a swimming pool.
Yeah, there is a swimming pool, but I wouldn't say it's about the swimming pool. The swimming pool is not one of the wild things.
Isn't it?
Well, the wild things are the 2 girls, but as soon as this started, this movie,
I don't know what it's about.
So it's basically about.
Is this a movie version of that Aerosmith video?
It's basically high school girls and a counselor. Did something happen? Kevin Bacon's a cop. Bill Murray is a lawyer in this movie.
No, it sounds more dramatic than I want it to be.
Yeah, it's trying to be stylish, kind of like a Tarantino-esque stylish noir. Like Southern noir.
Does Kevin Bacon do an accent?
No.
Oh.
Nobody does an accent. Because it's like the Keys of Florida South, not like Georgia South.
Oh, I gotcha.
Right. So lots of loose fitting button ups that just billow in the wind, and lots of Jeeps and shit.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't that great of a movie, but I will say it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And the whole time I'm trying to predict the twist. and I only got it about half. I only got it about half right, which is a sign of a good movie. If I couldn't quite, but I will say there was absolutely no hints of what the twist at the end was going to be. There was nothing that would lead you to. It was just a, So I don't know if that's good filmmaking or poor writing or what. But anyways, I think we spent enough on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, much like Matt Dillon spent on Denise Richards.
We just talked about Wild Things more than anybody has ever talked about Wild Things.
That's right. But hey, if you got $3.99 burning a hole in your pocket, you can get a 48-hour rental. Amazon. Referral code Illustrious for 10% off. What'd you watch over the weekend? You got two things on here, both of which
I finished
I'm into.
The Fear Street movie trilogy on the Netflix. It's apparently based on a series of books by R.L. Stine that he did before Goosebumps. I'm not familiar with any of that stuff. I've never read a word of R.L. Stine stuff, but it was fine. It was, 1994 was the first one, and then 1978, and then 1666. Because you can't go back to the year 666 because that wouldn't make sense. So I guess we have to do 1666 since it's a horror movie.
Right.
Do you get it?
Yeah. When they showed the year when the logo came up on the screen, did the one like fall off like a door, like a number to an apartment? Did the one just slowly fall off and then it just said
right?
666?
It swung back and forth a couple of times and it fell off the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but so it's supposed to be a continuing story from like 1666 is the origin, and then it goes up, and so there are different characters in 94 and 78, but then they take the same group of actors and put them in the 1666 version, which I thought was a detriment to the movie. You shouldn't have done that. It was just gimmicky and it was unnecessary. We get it. It's all connected, but there was no hint at, these people are reincarnated or cursed over the course of time or anything like that. So it's stupid. Just don't do that. That was my only complaint. The rest of it was fine. And I think maybe my entire life I might have missed out on the horror genre. Like I've never seen any Friday the 13th movies or any of the Elm Street movies or any of the Halloween movies. Maybe I've missed out on just the stupid schlocky killer movies.
Yeah, I would recommend Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. It's essentially if the X-Men fought Freddy Krueger.
No.
Because when they go into their dreams, they have powers. They dream themselves abilities to fight Freddy Krueger. That's as someone who liked comics and liked like shitty horror movies, that was one was right in my alley.
I haven't. Maybe I've seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street at some point. I started watching the first Halloween on a recommendation years ago, and I tend to like John Carpenter, but the sort of guerrilla gonzo movie making style that they employed in that movie, I didn't get past the first sequence where like the killer is going through the house and it's all POV vision, because it was obviously in 1970 whatever when the camera is the size of a fucking cooler, and it's obvious that the cameraman is trying to hold it on his shoulder and get the shot, and it's POV, so it's the cameraman doing the acting, and his hand comes into frame and opens the drawer, and there's a knife in there, and he goes to grab the knife and misses it the first time because he's obviously trying to hold the camera. I was like, I'm out.
Okay, so was Fear Street? Is it more geared towards like teens, or is it more geared towards adults?
It is an R or a TBM or however they do it on the streaming services. Now it's got its fair bit of gore and language. I don't remember any boobies.
Not even Jillian Jacobs boobies?
No. So I can't give it top grades.
Right,
But,
because of
yeah.
right.
But yeah, no. It was fine. It was solid. It was fun. I enjoyed it more than Shang-Chi. It was fine. It was, yeah. It was decent. It did what it was supposed to do. I found myself, maybe just because of the nature of what it is, like really giving it a lot of leeway.
Right.
When horror movies establish rules and then just say whatever, fuck it, it's not going to apply in this scene because we need this to happen. I'm like, whatever. I gave I gave it a lot more wiggle room than I do a lot of other things that take itself more seriously, you know?
Right now, there's some fucking fanboy screaming into his mic, like, why won't you give Shang-Chi the same wiggle room? Why can't you give that the same breadth of...
Comparatively, these movies cost $5 to make.
Right.
So if you're going to spend $150 million to make your movie, you'd better do all the things you should do.
Tick all those boxes. All right. You also, I didn't watch anything, so you also watched something else here. I think
yeah.
Maybe I deleted it when I put my notes over it, but you mentioned Gremlins with the kids, or
I
one
did,
of the kids.
Yeah. I want my 10-year-olds always watch it or asking to watch. Can we watch it, or can we watch whatever other scary movie everybody's talking about? It's like, fuck no, of course you can't. That'd make me a bad parent. But you know, I've got a handful of movies that are scary movies that, you know, we can give a shot to. So yeah, we put on Gremlins, and I don't know that the first one held their attention so much, but we watched Gremlins 2.
The new batch.
The new batch, and they were really into that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's a crazy fucking movie.
It wasn't awkward watching the gremlin in the bikini with one of your children.
Oh, they loved that one.
Try to be sexy.
they loved the lady gremlin. Yeah. And the story of that movie's bonkers too, because Gremlins had been such a hit, and then the studio tried forever to make a sequel, and they couldn't get anything to work, and eventually it came back to Joe Dante, and they're like, all right, just do whatever the fuck you're gonna do. And so we get a gremlin that turns into electricity and gets stuck in a phone listening to hold music, and a gremlin with spider legs. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Christopher Lee is a genetic scientist called what Dr. Catheter was his name.
Dr. Catheter, that seems like a thing that you can order and get delivered to your house. You could put it in yourself, like if you don't want to go to the doctor.
The name of his genetic lab in this giant New York skyrise is called Splice of Life.
Ew.
Great. Just great.
Yeah, I remember when I was probably your kid's age, I remember loving these movies, but I don't think I've even thought about it or put one on.
Yeah.
In 30 years, 30-something years.
And they were talking about the rules, you know, the gremlin rules. Like, Billy's trying to explain it to this room full of people. This one guy's like, well, what if they're on a plane and they cross over a time zone? And then the gremlin jumps out of the command board and, like, eats his neck. The movie's like, don't fucking worry about it.
See, that's a question I would ask. Like, if we just drove west, could we keep feeding them for 4 hours or 3 hours? What are they on the one true time zone? What do they know? How do they know it's midnight?
Yeah. The whole concept is a joke on monster movies.
Yeah. I quickly Googled it this morning for something. I don't know why. Well, I knew we were going to briefly talk about it. And the third question that comes up in the often searched gremlin things is Gizmo a boy? And I'm like, who needs to know the sex of Gizmo? What kind of person are you that you need to know the sex of the gremlin? Well, I guess they're not gremlin. What are they, mogwais before they're gremlins?
Mogwai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the band, not the prog rock band Mogwai, but the little
No,
furry thing.
right. I know this is a Spielberg movie, and the kid in the Chinese curiosity shop that sells the original creature to Billy's dad is wearing a Yankees baseball cap, like short round. So I'm sure it was a nod. I don't think it was supposed to be the same kid, but I don't know. Maybe it's in universe
Yeah, well, wasn't Short Round the same kid in
from the
Goonies?
Goonies.
Right. So you could really put the Short Round. You could have the same actor, put the Short Round.
The legacy character.
Put the cap on him, but then put the vest on him from Goonies and have him sell the Mogwai.
Right.
He's the thread that holds the whole Spielberg verse together. Okay. And then, so yesterday, not that we care about football, we're really going to talk about it, but I did spend all day yesterday at a potluck cards kickoff party. It was fun. Just seeing people I haven't seen in a while. It was fun. Drank too much, barely watched the game. I mean, but we were dominating, so it wasn't something you had to really pay attention to.
The Titans.
Yeah. So, I had a fun day yesterday watching football. I don't know if it's something I'm going to do on the reg, but the group we were with, when you're doing something and it's fun, everyone's like, okay, we're going to do it every away game. We'll do it 8 times over the next several months or whatever. Everyone's big talk, but I need to see some action. I want to see it happen. I need to see that group, that text thread pop back up in 2 weeks or whenever the fuck the next away game is.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyways, fuck football. It's boring. Fuck American football.
Yeah. It is very much boring.
All right. Well then, let's get in the DeLorean. 1996. I only brought you. I think it was you brought up the other day.
88 miles an hour.
Yeah, you brought it up the other day that it's 25 years since the Rob Liefeld Captain America titty drawing, and so when we were struggling to come up
with, which is weird because it was never a cover, and I don't think it was ever a published piece of art. I think it was this thing that was just kind of leaked and was out there.
I don't know. I thought it was like a house ad.
Used for anything, I don't think.
I thought it was like a house ad, but maybe not. But anyways, that's what prompted the idea today because we needed an idea today. And so I just Googled comics in 1996 and all sorts of shit happened 25 years ago in comic book world.
It was, man. It made me think of 1986.
Yeah.
1986 was everybody's favorite year. And then a decade later.
Bonkers year.
Yeah.
And so it makes me think
1996 was the Gremlins 2 of comics.
Yeah, I wonder if I need to now research. Did weird shit happen in 2006? What was
2006?
What was 2016 like?
That was 2006. Was Civil War?
I don't know either. But one of my favorite Batman things of all time debuted in 1996, and that was the Batman Black and White.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I think we've talked about this on the show, but I remember picking them up in the floppies, and then I have the hardcover.
Yeah. I have both trades.
Yeah. I think I only have the first one, but it was neat. Has like a placeholder, like a little ribbon built into it. It's all fancy and shit.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, Batman Black and White was fucking brilliant. What a character. What a great idea for that book, especially in the mid-90s when everything was so, as you can see behind you, garishly colored and screaming in every sense of the word, every sense of just yelling at you. Comics were, you get Batman Black and White.
It does hold a special place in my heart, for sure. Just looking at it, yeah, it is the color thing. The color is the first thing that really strikes your eyeballs, and the tone of that sort of stuff. Yeah, it transports you back to a specific point in time.
Yeah, and this was so different. The Batman Black and White was just so different. It's got that Brian Bolland story where I think a kid kills Batman because
he's just talking about how he would murder Batman.
Yeah. And I remember reading that and being like, of course, Batman's never going to think some like 14-year-old kid is a threat.
Yeah, I think that's also how Warren Ellis killed Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
The Marvel whatever series that he did, Ruins, that was it.
I've never read that. Must have come out in 2006. But yeah, it's always like the mythology of Batman and everything really could just be put to rest with anyone who has anyone with a gun that can shoot more than a couple hundred yards or even 100 yards. Just pick Batman off at any point.
Never thought of that.
Yeah. Or, get on the adjacent rooftop, and then next time Commissioner lights up the bat signal, Batman's showing up on that rooftop. Pretty easy.
You just lace the whole thing with C4 Die Hard style, and then you just blow the fuck out of it.
Yeah. So Batman's a pussy. So many easy ways to take him out.
Stop trying to come up with a new umbrella. Just shoot him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Riddler's sitting there like racking his brain to write new material when all he really needs to do,
needs
to go to range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's losing his mind.
Go to Walmart.
Yeah. The Riddler's just going nuts because nothing rhymes with orange. Meanwhile, all you really need is like a slingshot, a powerful slingshot.
Everybody's overthinking it.
That's right. And there's also that Howard Chaykin story in there where he tracks down the guy who's just killing people because they're rude. I thought that's like that story. It's close to my heart. I always want to kill people for being rude.
There's a Neil Gaiman, Simon Bisley story. Is that in the first volume? I don't remember.
I don't know if that's in the first volume or not. I don't really remember that one.
There's the future Walt Simonson Batman. There's the Thomas Wayne. His name escapes me at the moment. Klaus Janson story.
That's right. Isn't that like Bruce ends up dying, so Thomas Wayne becomes Batman?
No, it's a letter from Thomas to Bruce.
Oh, I think there is a Thomas Wayne Batman version though in one of the multiverses, or
that's the Flashpoint Batman.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, your kids were so upset that I didn't know about the Flashpoint Batman. They lost their shit.
Yeah. They sound like they're not feeling well.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have a note here. It also has your favorite Kevin Nolan work.
Yeah, the Monsters. That's
right.
My favorite Kevin Nolan comic for sure.
Yeah.
For a while I had every high-res page I could find printed out at 11 by 17.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
probably still somewhere.
I remember reading that and just being like, he draws Batman squishing stuff better than maybe than it should be able to be drawn.
Yeah, it was very visceral.
Yeah.
You could feel it.
Yeah. One of my favorite comic series of all time, miniseries, I don't know what you call it, prestige series, also came out in 1996, and that was Kingdom Come.
Yeah, it's I read okay. All of this sort of stuff is based on an article you sent me from something or other. Gamesradar.com. It's like a 1996 retrospective in comics.
Right.
So Kingdom Come was awesome. I fucking love that. I remember my dad loving it. I didn't know that it was a thing that Alex Ross came to DC with. So that was interesting in this article. He had all these sketches and just this idea. And then so they said, oh, hey, why don't you work with Mark Waid on this? Because Mark Waid loves all this shit. So it was great. Great.
Yeah, that shit's right up my alley. By the way, Games Radar is just Newsarama. They changed their name because they were bought by a parent company.
I see.
So Games Radar is Newsarama. But like that kind of shit's right up my alley. Like I've long said that I'm a fan of like generational characters and old man version characters and shit like that. And this had all of that.
It was great.
Yeah.
And that black ass, goddamn.
Black ass.
Black S.
Oh,
The black Superman S. Great. I had a
yeah.
shirt for a while, I think. I don't know what happened to it. But I was thinking the other day too. When I saw some motherfucker walking around like Walmart the other day with a Captain America shield shirt, and I remember I used to have to go to Atomic specifically if I was going to get a comic book shirt.
Yeah, you'd have to go
Now
get
every goofball in the world is wearing a distressed Superman shirt.
Yeah, back in the day, only graffiti designs made comic book
Yep.
shirts. And now, yeah, now you can get them at Target and shit, Walmart.
Unbelievable. I
Yeah.
can't.
You should have kicked him in his balls.
What a world, man. What a world.
Well, wait until all that Shang-Chi merch hits and people are wearing, the Shang-Chi logo.
What a world.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in all of comics is in Kingdom Come when Billy Batson is like a bad guy or whatever, and
yeah.
so was it Lex or somebody whispers in his ear just a little whisper of Shazam, and then all of a sudden he's fucking up Superman.
Yeah. He's bear hugging Superman or something and says it and moves out of the way real quick. And obviously Batman or Superman's two weaknesses, kryptonite and magic. So yeah, magic lightning bolt. Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Is he controlled by a mind worm or something?
Yeah, it's got to be like
Wrath of Khan style.
Yeah, but isn't that one of Captain Marvel's bad
Mr.
guys?
Mind is
Yeah.
worm thing.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that, if I'm going to fully nerd out about this, I didn't know that someone else could transform Billy Batson by saying the word. I thought Billy had to say the word.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very efficient or practical if anybody could just say it.
Yeah, like Black Adam could just make him. Black Adam could just make him transform into a kid and just murder him.
Right. Yeah, just gag him, turn him into a kid. Yeah. Awful.
Yeah, and then so the main article on there and the thing that spawned this whole idea with Big Titty Captain America is Heroes Reborn. And I think we talked about this. I think we had an episode where we made our own Heroes Reborn teams or something, or we did something with this.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, well, either way, this is the thing I was super pumped about. I remember being super pumped about this shit in 1996. And then the reality of it is, it is rough. I mean...
Well, the finished product, is not great.
Right.
But reading the article again, the reality of it, like real world reality inside the Marvel offices, that sounds awful. Just awful.
Yeah, they basically
all this stuff. It's like it's a vote of no confidence in your employees.
Yeah, you're sitting there doing your best. You're given you're giving Invisible Woman like a boob window suit and shit, doing anything to raise sales. And they're like, nope, we're going to shit can the whole line. You're not good enough. We're going to bring in outside help.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, also, much like the first wave of Image, when you started getting like the Scott Clark drawn, what was it? Stormwatch and shit like that. Like, this shit, the same thing. Jim Lee drew like the first two issues. Liefeld drew like the first issue. And then it was just whoever was in the studio. Like the image behind you is Brett Booth.
It's so bonkers. They're in bankruptcy. They go to these guys and say, we'll give you probably north of $1 million to take these books. And I guess it was based on like certain figures, like reading certain sales goals, which is why they canceled like Liefeld's portion of it after 6 issues or whatever, and gave Cap and Avengers to Homage Studios. The whole thing is just, it's so like pathetic's not the right word, but maybe it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought like, oh, we could it. You could do so many fun things with it, and they really just did the same. I mean, the origins weren't that different than what they were in 1962 or 1963. It's not like they went out of the box and had a black Iron Man or a female Captain America or anything like that. Like it was
No,
just the
nothing was
same.
different.
Nothing was different. Just
They condensed 50 issues into 12.
yeah. I mean, it's just I honestly can't remember anything about any of those books except the female Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, I think Ringo did issue 13 of Fantastic Four, maybe. That's all I remember about it. I remember picking up the Jim Lee Fantastic Four and just being bored out of my mind, like I was any other time I picked up a Fantastic Four book.
Yeah, the Whilce Portastio redesigned Iron Man, or maybe it was Jim Lee, one of those, was one of the first instances of, oh, this is too much. Like I remember seeing the costume and being like, oh my God, like it's too much.
Yeah, okay. So I had seen this this link somewhere on Twitter the other week, and forgive me for not remembering the YouTube channel, but this comics YouTube channel did a history of Onslaught video that I watched, and it's long, it's an hour plus, but it's super interesting. But that was the 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 germ, that was the seed for the Heroes Reborn thing, and knowing all of that, it makes perfect sense that it all turned out the way it did. It's like, yeah, the Onslaught thing, that's also 96. That was the event that led up to Heroes Reborn, and it was them trying to figure out the next X storyline and nobody having any ideas, and Scott Lobdell going, the X-Men find Juggernaut and he's been beaten up, and he just says Onslaught, and like, that's my idea. It's like, all right, do that. Oh, okay. And then so it makes sense that the entire thing just turned out to be a nightmare.
Yeah,
but I read all of it.
I don't think I read past maybe the 4th issue of each one.
I can see that page in my head, of that Uncanny X-Men page by Joe Mad with Beast and Jean Grey leaning over Onslaught in Xavier's yard. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
all of that stuff.
I thought you meant you read all of Heroes Reborn. I read all of the X-Men Onslaught shit too.
I the only book I picked up was Fantastic Four for the first 6 issues, maybe.
Yeah, at one point, like Ryan Benjamin was drawing Iron Man, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, not that I mean, I do like some of Ryan Benjamin's stuff. I just didn't like his Iron Man work. But who am I? Who am I to throw shade? But yeah, like what was I gonna say? I don't even know what the fuck Onslaught. I still don't know what the fuck Onslaught is or was. Wasn't he like the dead twin baby in Xavier's mind?
He's Professor X after all of the trauma that Xavier has been through. His psyche sort of splinters, and during Fatal Attractions, when he mind wipes Magneto, Magneto's consciousness like jumps to Xavier and sort of lives inside of him, and that's why you get Onslaught looking like a giant roided out Magneto. So it's Magneto's philosophy with Xavier's power set.
But was it Xavier's body, or was he manifested?
No, I think he's physically inside of it somewhere, and over the course of the story, he like absorbs Nate Gray and Franklin Richards to like use their powers to do something or whatever the fuck. And the idea that he's made of mutants is why the X-Men couldn't defeat him, and why all of the regular heroes from Heroes Reborn ended up going into Onslaught, and that's a pocket universe.
A pocket universe created by Franklin Richards.
Inside of a blue bouncy ball. Yes.
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 God, I can't believe, like, when people say the 90s, everything was just fucking weird in the 90s. Like, I think we need a little more of that, like maybe a little more weirdness now, but shit was just bonkers back then. Like, they were just doing anything.
Yeah, it sounds like what would Grant Morrison do sort of philosophy. But the people who do that stuff aren't Grant Morrison, because Grant Morrison doesn't sit around asking what would Grant Morrison do and then doing it well. This is
Right. Yeah. So that's Heroes. You don't really
that's
need to.
Heroes Reborn.
You don't need
Garbage.
to read the comics anymore, people. I mean, we just gave it all to you, nice and
Unbelievable.
slow. I didn't realize this was 1996, the Marvel versus DC Amalgam universe.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it as we were talking about it just a little bit ago. That would have made more sense for Heroes Reborn to come out of than the Onslaught debacle. But yeah, and this article was super enlightening and I found delightful, because the Marvel versus DC concept came out of the two publishers wanting to save comic books and wanting to give retailers something that would bring readers in and keep them afloat. This was as unselfish as you can be. This is the total opposite of Heroes Reborn. It was great. It was great. It was a feel-good story, even though the product is questionable in its quality. The gesture is grand.
I didn't read. The only big two book I was reading at this time was X-Men and X-Men related titles. So I've never read or even flipped through any of these comics.
I have all 4 parts of Marvel versus DC, and I have a handful of the Amalgam books. I think I have Super Soldier, Speed Demon, which is a mashup of Flash and Ghost Rider for whatever reason.
Yeah, didn't Ringo create the Spider Boy? Wasn't it Spider Boy?
Oh,
Superboy, Spider-Man.
Spider Boy, yeah, Superboy and Spider-Man.
Right.
Who did that though? I want to say that was a Jose Ladrón book.
Oh, okay. Maybe I've seen a promo image then or something of Ringo drawing him.
Who was a guy whose stuff I really liked.
Yeah, he did a great run on Cable.
Thought deserved to be bigger than what he was, and I hope he's getting paid now doing whatever it is he's doing. But he's a guy that I would like to see more of. What were the other ones? Dark Claw, the Batman Wolverine mashup. I think I don't know if I have Doctor Strange Fate.
What about Shatter Starfire? Do you have anything with Shatter Starfire in it?
Is that real, or did you just make that up?
I saw it on Wikipedia. I think it's real.
Yeah. What else did they do? JLX. Fucking. I think there was a Catwoman one. Catwoman and Elektra maybe had a thing. I don't remember.
Wonder Woman and who was mixed up with Wonder Woman? It was.
I don't know.
Shouldn't be this difficult.
I don't know. No.
Maybe Storm. I think maybe a Storm.
No, they fought. I don't think they amalgamed. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. What a fun sort of concept though. But they're right in this article when they go on to explain that it's never going to happen again. They're totally right. Never going to happen again. All of these IPs are too valuable.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they started making money or movies with these characters, you're never gonna get this kind of thing again.
Yeah, but I do remember picking up like they had free Marvel versus DC. I guess I would describe them as like pamphlets. They're comic size, but they're only a few pages, like next to the register at shops. I do remember having those, and I might still have those, and I think I might have even voted on the battle winners, and I'm sure like a fucking idiot, I voted for Wolverine to beat Lobo.
You dumb dumb. Yes, Amazon was written and drawn by John Byrne, and it
Mm.
was Princess Aurora Monroe of
Oh
Themyscira.
wow.
Yep. Doctor Strange Fate. I like how there's like Dark Claw and then Legends of Dark Claw and Dark Claw the animated series. Like they just didn't give a fuck. They were just doing everything. Super Soldier, Bruce Wayne, Agent of Shield. All these are great. Bullets and Bracelets. I think that was like Wonder Woman and
Oh.
somebody else. Yeah, Speed Demon, Spider Boy. Yeah, these are great.
Oh, that was Punisher and like Donna Troy or something.
Sure, why not?
Bullets and bracelets.
Challengers of the Fantastic with art by Tom Grummett. How cool was that? I gotta check that out. Iron Lantern.
Nick.
Thorion of the New Asgods.
Ooh.
New Asgods. But yeah, the cool one of the coolest things about this is this line was created. The splinter point for this line was a character that's co-owned by Marvel and DC, a character named Access.
That's right.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, and another point in the story was it was interesting. They were playing around with the idea of swapping a character from each universe for a year. That would have been neat.
Yeah.
You know? And then I got to thinking, oh, maybe we should, maybe that would be the question. Like, which character would you swap between universes? But I don't know. They were going to swap She-Hulk and Martian Manhunter.
Right. Because they're both useless.
They're redundant, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It would be neat if there was still like even today, if you took like just called it like Access, like a comic called Access or whatever, and like every 6 issues, Marvel publishes 6, DC publishes 6, and so in 6 issues he's teaming up with like a Marvel character. But I guess I wouldn't. Who cares about Access? So that's a dumb idea, Ryan. No one gives a fuck about whoever this character Access is. But yes, it would be neat to like loan out one of your shitty characters to the competition to see what if they could do better than you with it.
Yeah, I don't know about that point.
Sure,
but I don't know. It fulfilled its purpose. It did what it set out to do. It gave retailers a bump. It gave fans a reason to invest their interest and money for a little while. So good on everybody involved, you know, regardless of what you might think.
Yeah,
about the product.
I was just thinking I wouldn't be against checking some of these out, but I bet these are not available digitally anywhere because of the rights.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because of the rights issues. Might be hard to find. Let's breeze through a couple more before we wrap up. Kickoff's in like 10 minutes. This one, I feel like I've heard you talk about Batman: The Long Halloween before. Like, is it something that you read?
No, I don't think I have. Oh. I have it, and I'm sure I must have read it. I don't revere it like a lot of other people do.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it kicked off
just okay.
It kicked off an entire like subgenre of Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb comics.
Yes,
that I don't. And maybe it's personally, I'm not a big Tim Sale guy, so maybe that's why I never really got into it. But it's a weird thing that just kept happening, and then it was like Spider-Man, whatever.
They had a run there. I have Superman for all seasons. I think I have all 4 books, and that I might have the first issue of their Daredevil mini. But they did the Spider-Man one. They did a Hulk one, I think.
Yeah,
Captain America, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, just a bizarre thing.
Yeah, people liked their pairing. You know, they were for a spell there. They were Simon and Garfunkel.
That's right. That's right. Not anymore, though. Who knows what Jeff Loeb's doing? Probably just cashing checks.
He's an executive producer on all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah. Why write shitty comics when you can just go to the bank a couple times a week.
Why do anything?
Right. Yeah. I've always wondered about those people who like get rich and just keep working. I'm like, why do anything? Like, I don't even have to get rich. I don't even have to be remotely wealthy. If someone gave me, I would be happy with 50 grand a year and I wouldn't do anything. Nothing. I'd go for walks.
I guess I'd probably just do chores all the time.
Yeah. There'd never be a dirty dish. Put it that way. Yeah, and then I thought this was interesting only because you like the characters. Is that the Image Comics, the Eric Larson version of Ninja Turtles?
Oh, was that 96?
Came out in 96. Yes.
Interesting.
And I think, didn't he bring it back kind of to the roots? Weren't they all wearing red bandanas and it was grittier?
Yes. He totally Eric Larsoned them. It was we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do. Don't give a fuck about anything sort of deal. Yeah, good book. I have my only ever fan letter published in issue number 2.
Can you tell us what it was about?
No, I don't remember. I don't know, but you know, it would be 20 years until I talk to Eric Larson again.
Yeah, you should. Is it like were you?
I should have asked him about it when he was out. Right. Here. Do you remember my letter?
Yeah, you were probably the guy like. I think there was an error because Donatello's mask is purple and it was red.
I don't think I even asked a question. So I think it was just a statement.
I loved you on Spider-Man and Savage Dragon's great, but this is the pinnacle. This is the peak. Yeah, I mean, he I like what he did with that though. Like he really incorporated them into the Larson verse.
Oh
like,
yeah,
there's like crossovers with the Freak Force and shit.
Oh
like,
yes,
it was a whole thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
it totally is.
Yeah, and that's what you can do when you treat them as comics and you don't take everything so seriously. Like it wasn't a Nickelodeon series at that point. It wasn't like a DreamWorks movie or whatever the fuck. It was just like just comics.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if the cartoon was still happening in 96. It probably was, but the movies had, burned themselves out, and I think general public interest was probably at near an all-time low at this point. So just like whatever the fuck, man.
Right? Why not?
Yeah.
And then a couple last notes here. In July of 1996, Diamond Comic Distributors bought Capital City Distribution, effectively creating the Diamond monopoly that would last until just last year.
This is after the whole Heroes World thing and all that garbage. Yeah. So and reading the quotes from Steve Geppi. He really credits the consolidation of that saving the industry. I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is him patting himself on the back.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it makes sense, I suppose. I'm not a numbers guy or a business guy, but it seems like shit was just kind of all over the place.
It's hard for me to think like, oh, can a monopoly really be good for the industry? But a lot of people seem to think it was. So who knows? I guess if you ran a store, ordering from one catalog is easy. But then again, they can do whatever they want and you're at their mercy.
Yeah.
Like a newborn just runs your shit. That's what
it seemed
Diamond
like
does.
They did a lot of things that were in the best interest of everybody. Again, from Steve Geppi's own mouth, but
Giuseppe.
Yeah, that's not even close to right.
Giuseppe. Yeah, and then they married Lois and Clark in the comics because they were getting married because of the TV.
Show. Is that the first instance of a comics need to follow film sort of thing?
Might have been, but it's so weird because now they don't necessarily do that now. Now they accept that they're separate entities for the most part. But yeah, it's like that article said like, or someone was quoted saying like, well, they were getting married on the TV show, so we had to marry them in the comics. And I'm like, you didn't have to.
Yeah, you didn't have to.
No.
But why
And
not?
also, the article states Superman married Lois, and then I thought, oh, it'd be funny if she's only married to Superman. Like Clark still gets to go out and like get some strange, because she's only married to Superman.
Yeah, what if he still had his secret identity?
Yeah, she's always asking him like, who are you really? And he's like, I can't tell you for your own safety. Meanwhile, Clark's got a date later that night in Shanghai.
Dick.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't care. I hate when combo characters are married. I think it ruins.
I have it. I have the wedding album. It's like 72 pages or something. It's got I think the cover is, I think it's like the issue 75 cover where it's just the S symbol, but it's all embroidered in white and everything, like it's a wedding invitation or whatever. I can't imagine reading that now. I think I would be more bored reading that than I was the Heroes Reborn Fantastic Four.
Right.
But I know when you mentioned it, I know that I have it, and I know when it came out, and I know that I was reading Superman at the time, and I know that it was a big deal, even though I didn't care for it at all, and I'll never revisit it. But yeah, it's one of those important points, I guess, and my favorite superheroes history.
Yeah, I remember when Jean Grey and Scott Summers got married. Like they had a real designer design her dress, and then Adam Kubert had to draw it, and then
how awful.
They like printed the lyrics to "One" by U2 because that was their wedding song. So it's just like the lyrics from the song in the comic. I remember just being like, "What the fuck?"
Yikes! What year was this?
Well, I don't know when. Maybe 98, maybe earlier than that. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't care.
I don't care either.
No, I mean, it's nice for them, I guess. Nice for fictional people. I'm happy for them.
Right, but it's, who gives a shit? Like, I bet there were fucking dorks on the AOL message boards back then being like, I can't believe
AOL.
I can't believe Clark would marry her. Like, she's so mean to him. Like she's always bossing him around and calling him Smallville, and she doesn't respect him as a man. It's going to make...
Projecting much.
Yeah, Superman's going to be a simp now. I don't know. That's what those kids say. All right, let's wrap this up because kickoff just started. Yeah, that's kind of it. Just
got better things to do.
25 years ago. And that's where we were. It's a weird year for comics. I recommend Kingdom Come, and I recommend Batman Black and White. For sure.
Totes.
I do not recommend.
And I would recommend just reading up on it because the story of 1996 is a lot more interesting than anything that came out of 1996.
Yes, and anyone who wants to, if you just Google comic books in 1996, that's like the first article that comes up, the Games Radar article that we read. So
I thought it was as brief as it was still chock full of new information to me and a lot of general insight. So right. I would be interested in learning more. So if any of you have access to more information or maybe links to YouTube videos or other articles, I'd be down. Send them over because, I want to know more about this time. It's super interesting.
Yeah, we could just throw in random, like next time we don't have an idea for a show, let's just do 1990 and then make our way through the 90s because the 90s were all fucking weird. Just weird shit happened in the 90s in comics. So
word.
All right, man. We don't have any drinks to rate. Nope. So I guess next week.
Yeah, we'll do something.
We'll do something next week. All right, send us packing, homeboy.
Yeah. Everybody party like it's 1996.